Bro, what's up, man?
What up? What's cracking?
How you doing today?
Man, alive and breathing. What's the good word?
Hey, man. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you. Taking time out of your day to hop on here. I really appreciate you. Let me go ahead and fix the camera so you can see the clean cut. You know, I gotta get suited and
See,
booted for my boy. But
I see.
have you smiled today?
Every day, all day.
What'd you
Every
smile?
time you wake up, shoot, I smile when I woke up.
Hey, that's beautiful.
When I can, anytime I can wake up and open my eyes, breathe, hear, walk, see, when I can use all of my senses, like that's a good day. That's worth smiling.
Hey, I appreciate that. That's perfect reason to smile today. As soon as you wake up, I'm on the same page as you. But just a little
Right.
small introduction about who I got today. It's my boy Parrish, NBA TV host. We got some other occupations that we're gonna get into a little bit later, but my man's one of the freshest people from Texas, and he does Fish Fridays with Ed Reeds. And so, if people who know me, they know I love fried fish. So I had to set this up right here. But
Yeah.
so I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the questions since we're running a little bit late. But we go ahead and jump into the questions. So on Saturday, they had a 2-on-2 game between Quavo, Jack Harlow, and versus Two Chains and Lil Baby. Now Quavo and Jack Harlow came out on top, but I think that this is something that's gonna ramp up a little bit, and more artists are gonna try and get involved. And I know you're a music enthusiast, and I love me some music too. So with that being said, if you were to have a 3-on-3 team, I'm gonna switch it from two to three because I'm Perry Randle the third, so I'm gonna switch it from two to three. So if you were a GM of a three-on-three basketball team full of musical artists, who would be the three artists that you would draft to your team?
We talking current day.
Any in the past, any hoopers you know, because you know the game go with culture.
Well. All right, so if we're gonna go all-time selections, shouts out to D. Well, I see scrolling up. If we're going all-time selection, my first pick of someone who is in the music industry that can also hoop, first pick is Master P. I mean,
Yeah.
he's the only guy, only person ever that was in the rap game that actually, got to play in a real NBA game. It was preseason, but he was with two different teams. He was with the Charlotte Hornets and he was also with Toronto. So that's my first pick, number one. After that, I'm gonna go with J. Cole. We know J. Cole got game. And then I'm gonna round it out with two Chains pre-injury. I know he had like I think he just had a leg injury or something. He had surgery. So pre-surgery, those are the three ballers that I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, one of my favorite bars by Two Chains is I had to kill a crossover before I crossed over. Now of course he's a rapper now, but I know
Man,
exactly
he's
what
a
you're talking.
rapper. He's an entrepreneur. He's Two Chains, man. He's a owner of a G League team, man. Shouts out to Two Chains, man.
Hey, he doing a thing. But if I had to get my three, you took one person off my list, and I ain't got nobody else. I ain't got my six man, but I'm gonna go ahead and say my list. My three would be J. Cole, because that's my favorite rapper, and of course, we know that he can hoop. Everybody's rocking the Dreamers out there on the court. Shout out Puma. I gotta go with Chris Brown. I think he's a slept on hooper because he messed up Kevin Hart and the Plastic Cup Boys one time, and I'll never forget it. But and then my third would be Lil Dicky. I think he would really catch some people off guard.
He can hoop.
Go look up the highlights. Go look them up. Hey, what Shaq
Well, I mean,
say?
listen.
What Shaq say?
Hey,
Google me.
hey, anybody can put a string of highlights together. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
true.
you never know what's believable and what's not.
That's true. But hey, Lil Dicky got game. I promise that. From what I've seen,
Right.
he passed the eye test. Let me say that. Let me say that. Those three guys. Those are my three. But
Okay.
transitioning to the next topic. Um, I know that, like I said earlier, you had some other occupations than just NBA TV host. You was a DJ with the Dallas Mavericks for 8 years, and you're one of the few DJs to win a ring with the team. So with that being,
Yeah.
yeah, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I actually thought about bringing my ring out. It's actually not too far from me right now, but I'm actually in the office getting ready to be on television tonight. But yeah, that experience was awesome. One of the best experiences as a professional. Shouts out to, Jet Terry. Shouts out to Karan Butler, Brendan Haywood. Shouts out to Big Dirk. Shouts out to my main man, one of my closest friends, Sean Marion. Just that whole experience, that whole ride was just something unexplainable. There was just a different feel that whole season, just seeing how that team was constructed, trades that were made, and how it was all brought together. People don't talk about that team enough.
Right.
Number one, you know what I'm saying? They beat a tough Portland team in the first round that was expected to win. So they beat them. In the next round, they swept the Lakers, who were coming off a championship. You had Kobe. That was Phil Jackson's last hurrah with that team. So they sweep the Lakers. And then they go on to beat, in the conference finals, a young OKC team with KD, with Russ, James Harden. They beat those boys. And then they go on to beat LeBron and, D Wade and Chris, like that team. And I'm obviously a little biased. I mean, you can see my picture right above me in my office. It obviously, reflects, that I might have some slight bias. But just for that team, that run that they went on and everybody that they beat, that team does not get enough love. They need to get more love.
That's big facts. The underdog and just going against like every like imaginable big name that you can think of. Kobe, D Wade, LeBron, Chris Bosh, all on the same team, not including Kobe, but
Right.
the big three in Miami. Like you said, just the underdog, just did the thing. Uh but shout out to 2011 Dallas Mavericks. But my question going along with you renting that ring with that team, that historic team, is as a DJ, you got to be able to fill out your audience. Now, I ain't never been a DJ, but I know that when I get on the aux cord, I gotta feel out who's in the car and what songs they want to hear and all that type of stuff. But for you, what are some
Right.
things that you remember and try to implement whenever you're filling out your audience? Because you don't have to just apply this to music. You can apply this to if you're a motivational speaker or if you have a social media account, you got one follower. That's still your audience. So what are some things that you implement when it comes to filling out your audience?
Well, the one thing, and we'll just talk about DJing right now for this moment. I used to instruct DJs for Carnival Cruise Lines, and the first thing I would always tell them is like reading the crowd is important. That's probably the most important thing, but it's right tied along with you have to understand and know where your music is so everything is organized so you can access it that much quickly. So yeah, you read the crowd and you say, okay, such and such is here. You see all this, but if you don't know where to locate your music and how to play the right track, reading the crowd ain't really gonna help you
Right.
because you're not prepared. So I think those two are like 1A and 1B, or just however you want to put it. Those two are right there. You have to know, okay, oh, I see a lot of females coming in tonight. Oh, let me throw on this reggae real quick. Let me throw on some dance hall because women want to get out there and dance. Or, I see a lot of bros in here. Let me throw on some turn up. Like it,
Yeah.
you just have to see who's in there. That's knowing how to quickly access your music is just as important as reading the crowd.
Right. No, that makes complete sense. So I would say like, do I need a if I'm in the car with the fellas and I need to just have a fellas playlist, I need to have my girl playlist. Would that help me out?
Yeah, you got to have it ready. I mean, even now, I rarely have people roll out with me just because of the way things are set up now with COVID, and I don't really kick it with a lot of people out here in the A. But the retired DJ in me still has like pretty much whatever's hot right now. I have like a playlist ready to go just in case somebody does get in the car and we wanna vibe out to something that's hot. So I mean I keep all types of playlists in my phone, mainly for workouts. I gotta have certain types of music to work out to, but I got classics, I got chill vibes, I got just stuff I'll turn on to roll out to. So there's a lot of different, types of music that I listen to just depending on what type of mood I am or the situation.
It sounds like to nip it in the bud. It sounds like the old moniker, stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready, basically. That's really what it sounds
Facts.
like. But
Facts. Now that's true. It's true.
I appreciate that because hey, next time I'm in the car, they know I'm locked and loaded. But the next question would be so we first connected on social media, and the first time we interacted was when you were on NBA TV and you made a reference to the Chappelle Show, one of my favorite shows, and you said, "What the five fingers say to the face?" Slap. If the people to watch it that don't know, hey, go do your research because there's some gems in that
Right.
show. But uh, and then so you reposted whenever I had said something on Twitter, and what you said under the post was you got to be authentic to yourself. You got to engage, enlighten, and entertain. So was there a particular moment that made you realize those three things were what you had to do to be the best version of yourself?
Yeah, there was a certain point. This is my fifth year here with Turner Sports, and I'm surrounded by greatness daily.
All right.
And my office is right here. I don't know if anybody caught the, Inside the NBA documentary that was, showed over the last couple of days, but everybody in that documentary surrounds me on a daily basis. Whether it's TK, who is the executive producer of Inside the NBA, Jeremy, who's in there, we all share the same office space. Ernie Johnson's office is literally steps away. In the locker room right across the way, my locker is right next to Brendan Haywood. It's facing Shaq. Charles Barkley's right there. D Wade is directly in front of me. So everybody, and even the people behind the scenes that you might not know about that maybe weren't featured, we're always in the same area. So, and I say all that to say, there's a certain, I like to call it the Turner way. It's just something that was established for me early on when I got here, and I kind of saw how everybody operated as really like a family, sometimes a dysfunctional family, but it's truly a well-oiled machine, and everybody understands their role. So once I got settled in and figured it out, it's like, okay, I kind of see where my role is here, and I understand what my purpose is here and what I'm supposed to be doing. So let me go ahead and put this together. And the words that I came up with were, number one, you want to enlighten, you want to be knowledgeable, and between myself and whoever I'm with, you want to be able to teach the game. You want to be engaging. You want people to want to come in and hear more of what you're saying. And hold up, I need to hold up. Let me run it back. Let me hear what he just said. And most of all, you need to entertain. People want to be entertained. People want to laugh. That's why people listen to music. That's why people go to movies. That's why people stream Netflix. That's why people do all these things, because they want to watch something that's going to hold their attention, but also entertain them at the
All right.
same time. So engage, enlighten, and entertain. That's something that I try to make sure I do with my crew on every show. So those are the three words. Those are something I came up with. It was probably during the height of the pandemic when we were, at the crib, not really doing a lot. I'm just sitting around thinking about, okay, how can I get better every day?
All right.
I'm not getting the reps on air because we're not in a studio, but so you just start tweaking and writing things. And I said it on air a couple of times, and I would have saved one and I would leave one out. But then I said, okay, let me put this together.
All right.
And it just kind of became a part of, what I say, the intro to the show, to kind of let you know, okay, this is what we're here to do. Let me just tell you what we're about to do before we do it.
And let me just tell you, man, hey, you do a phenomenal job at that because every time I'm watching NBA TV, I know I'm gonna get a couple bars, a couple Chappelle show references. I'm getting something from my boy Parrish. When I see you on TV, I'm like, hey, I know I better tune in. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Nah, I appreciate the support. I really just try to, and you mentioned it, be authentic to myself. I get plenty of people saying, "Oh, you're the next Stuart Scott," or you remind me of, some people don't like it. Stop trying to be Stuart Scott. Let me say this. Number one, Stuart Scott is someone that I am very thankful for because, number one, just him as a human, what he did, just being a great guy, but then what he did on television. And then I had the honor to work with him a number of times, and he always, and I mean always, treated me with respect. Like, it didn't matter that, I was probably someone lower on the totem pole, but he acknowledged me, looked me in the face like a man, and like, yo, what's good? Dap me up. We spoke the same language. So I'm always grateful with my experiences with Stu because he always showed me love. And I cherish it to this day. We got to work together twice for NBA All-Star Weekend. He was hosting the celebrity game. I was the in-arena MC, and we had a thing where we went back and forth with each other on air. I introduced him, and then he threw it back to me. So I have audio drops and video drops of Stuart Scott saying, "Let me kick it back to my man Parrish." So those are things that I'll cherish. So anyway, I bring that full circle to say, as much as I love Stu, I'm not trying to be Stu. As we've already mentioned, I'm a retired DJ. Music is something that I've been doing my entire life. I love music. I still listen to music now. It's a very big part of who I am. I can recite lyrics pretty quickly. I'll see something that'll remind me of something, and a lot of it's off the cuff. And, that on top of the pop culture references, everybody for the most part that's in our demographic remembers Chappelle's Show. Or if there's something that you see online, like where the money resides, like, we'll take that, and why not use it on air? Everybody else is saying it, out in the world anyway.
Right.
Why don't we say something that's relatable? But then we're also going to tell you Damian Lillard, for the fourth time this season, he's gone over 40 points and he's dropped 9 assists. We're going to give you some substance, with everything that we're delivering. So it's a balance. It's not always done perfectly. We don't always get it right, but we're going to give you that effort every time.
And that's what's important, and it obviously shows, or else you wouldn't be in the position that you are today. But like I said, I appreciate that, and because it inspires people like me that are trying to do something similar to what you're doing, man. Just go out there and be yourself. Now, I ain't gotta do
Right.
nothing that I don't know. I'm just gonna continue to grow in the areas that I already know some stuff in, and it seems like it works over time.
No, it does. You have to be authentic to yourself.
Right.
So for anybody, like I said, anybody that says stop trying to be Stu Scott, like, I'm not trying to be Stuart Scott. Now, I will say this: twice a year, if I'm on air in any way, shape, form, or capacity, if I'm on air on his birthday or the day of his death, I intentionally
Right.
use his references on purpose. And I tell the audience, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to shout out Stuart Scott. I'm going to use, and the Lord says you got to rise up as cool as the other side of the pillow. I'm going to use as many Stu Scott references on purpose just to pay homage to someone who I genuinely appreciate, and man, a legend that really was gone too soon, and just want to make sure we keep his name. Nobody's ever going to forget Stu, but just in case someone might have not been familiar or never heard of him because they're a part of the younger generation, they weren't around when SportsCenter was popping in the 90s and the 2000s. Why did he just say cooler than the other side of the pillow? Well, this is why he said it, because he's referencing Stuart Scott, who was on SportsCenter. So it's like you just want to continue to pay it forward, to show love, especially since he shows so much love to me.
Hey, well then, in honor of the late great Stuart Scott, booyah! Let me go ahead and just throw that out there. But as we transition into the next topic, we got a few more questions for Parrish. Appreciate you hopping on. I know that you are a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. Now, before we get into this topic, if I say anything that's gonna get me in trouble, get me ran up on, please stop me. All right. I don't expect to say anything crazy, but we gonna get into it. But
All right, I'll say this, and unless you are a member of, our fraternity, I would be careful throwing up those 3 fingers.
that
Just be careful doing that.
did I throw him up?
Just be careful doing that, because you never know. Be careful doing that when you're dealing with any members of Kappa Alpha Psi, and if you're on the West Coast in certain areas, beware of throwing up pretty much any type of sign. But that sign in particular, there's some guys that wear red that might not appreciate that. So just be careful. Always be very cognizant and aware of your surroundings.
Did I throw him
But
up? Did I throw him up? Did I do something?
you're good, bro. Good, you're good.
All right, just making sure. I don't want no smoke with nobody. I'm good. All right. But like I said, you a capper that doesn't do a whole lot of capping. But with that being said, uh, I know that you are a mentor to young men through that fraternity. Is that correct?
Correct. And I haven't been able to mentor as much as I would like with my current position. I definitely did a lot more when I was back in Texas, but just because of the way my job's kind of set up right now, plus the pandemic, like it hasn't really been. I really haven't been able to mentor the way I would like to. Plus the workload is kind of crazy right now. We really haven't had an off season. That's usually when I try to give back and try to do what I can to help. So, but we had an off season that was basically like 20 days. It seemed like.
Right. That's what it
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
especially for the Lakers and the Heat. That's how and it's probably different even for media. But uh
Right, right.
I was a if you can kind of say a mentor for Big Brothers Big Sisters, that organization, and so I can kind of relate as far as having somebody younger than you and wanting to instill something into that person that you've learned over the course of your life. And one of the few things that I would try to instill to my little, his name is Keegan. What I would try to instill to Keegan is be yourself, have fun, and whatever you love to do, just work hard at it every day because usually what you put into it is most likely what you get out of it. So, with that being said, what are some things that you try to instill into those young men when you are mentoring them?
One thing I like to say, obviously, you want to work hard.
Right,
However, work smarter, not harder.
right,
So we all have muscles and strength and can, put forth effort. However, learn other ways to where you can use this muscle and be just as effective, if not more effective, in what you're trying to accomplish.
right,
So, because you can go out there and work for 50 hours a week and really accomplish nothing. So the key to it is like, okay, how can I figure out how to make the most of what I'm doing, and still not burn myself out because I'm working so hard.
right. I think that's one misconception about the word grind. Now, people use, I'm not going to correct them just on spot. Hey, don't be saying that, but I understand like the actual definition of grind is that you're going to slow down. And when something grinds in a factory, they're going to shut things down because that's not what they wanted to do. It's more so, like you said, working smarter and not harder. But that makes complete sense. I completely agree with that. But uh, transitioning to the last few questions, I got two more for you. You got time for two more, Ro? Two more.
Talk to me.
All right. So when like what I was talking about earlier with playlists, when it comes to my playlist, I got a lot of conscious music. You can say deep music, and that's the only place that my boy Damian Lillard pulls up from. He pulls up from deep. But every now and then, like we saw last night, you might catch a banger because he was hanging on the rim looking like my boy Prince from the Chappelle show, hanging from the rim one handed. But
Oh, you talking about Steph?
no, oh yeah, he was doing it too. They was
But I say, did Dame get a dunk?
he did he caught a oop. It was Dames, Curry, and then CP3.
Okay, I miss when Dame caught through. I saw CP3 and I saw the Steph alley, but go ahead, continue.
Curry was definitely hanging on the rim a little more like Prince than Dame was, but I'll say that. But with that being said, like I said, with Dame pulling up from deep, and every now and then you might catch a banger. I would say my playlist probably resembles him as a player, kind of making that connection. It's like my playlist resembles Damian Lillard. So who would your music playlist resemble the most as far as players in the NBA?
So my playlist, I think and this is probably too easy, but just for the sake of not going too deep with it, I'll just say LeBron James
Okay.
because LeBron is versatility. We know that LeBron can score. We know that LeBron can dish. He can rebound. He can play defense, mid game, mid range game, outside shot. He can pretty much do it all. One of the most versatile players that you'll find, and I just say that because I have a very versatile playlist. I have versatile playlists. So today, for the last couple of days, I've been listening to a lot of Biggie.
Yeah.
So before that, I have a Just Blaze playlist I was listening to. I have, EDM playlists, all up tempo music. There's a lot of different playlists I listen to, but it varies. I have some, fight music that I listen to if I'm pissed off and I'm walking into the gym and something happened in my personal life and I want to take out my frustrations when I walk in the gym. I'll turn on this playlist. It's called Angry Anakin. So I'll listen to that playlist. It just depends on what's going on that day.
It sounds like you got the longevity because if you got all those type of genres, then you're gonna be lasting in year 18 like LeBron is talking about in the MVP conversations as well. So it sounds like you sound like an MVP.
I'll take that. Word to Big L, who had the song about MVP back in the day. But I mean, that's the plan. That's what you want to be in this game for. You don't want to be in here. You don't want to be a Nova that just flies through. You want to be, like the sun that just burns continuously and has staying power for an extremely long time. You
Absolutely.
know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Well, my last question I ask every guest that I have on here this, and I got a few that I got from your page. So my last question is your favorite quote. Now, before you answer, I'm gonna say the three that I got from your page because you used to do these public service announcements. So the first one was elevation requires separation. The second one I got was don't make permanent decisions based on temporary feelings. And the third one that I got was a cluttered mind equals a slow body. So, hey, those are some gems, free jewelry for everybody that's watching this, free jewelry. But with that being said, what is your favorite personal quote or the quote that really comes to mind at this moment?
There's so many. I try to inspire daily, and if I can just inspire one person, that's always my goal. A lot of time, more times than not, whatever I'm saying, a lot of times I'm really talking to myself just to make sure I'm focused for that day and I have my mind right on what I need to do. Sometimes it has absolutely nothing to do with me. I know sometimes people have seen it like, hold on, were you talking to me or no? I was talking to myself because I know that things weren't happening the right way and I need to just get my mind together. Um, but to answer your question, I don't know if I have one specific quote.
Mm,
You brought up elevation requires separation, and that one's important to me because in order to separate yourself from the field and be that great person that you strive to be, you have to get away from everything else that's not going to be beneficial to your end game and what you're trying to do. So you do have to separate from everything and focus on the current task at hand. Um, and when you have a lot of things going on in your mind and your mind is cluttered, that's going to prevent you from focusing on the actual goal that you want to reach. So there's a lot of different things I think about. I mean, I'm always quick to say a minor setback equals a major comeback, because bad things are going to happen all the time, but it's not the bad thing that happens. Maybe it's how you respond
right.
to whatever bad happens. You lose the game. Okay, you lost. 24-hour rule. All right, cool. How are we going to bounce back the next day? How are we going to figure out to get this dub? And I'm not just talking about sports because you can take an L in life. All right. How do I figure out how to win the next day? Win the 3 words, win the day. That's what the focus is. How can I win the day? How can I win this hour? How can I win this morning? What do I need to do habit wise, task wise to be successful over this period of time, no matter how long it is. So that's the mindset I always try to have. I'm not going to win everything. I
Hmm.
always like to say people, I'm going to win more than I lose, but that's just the mindset. You have to speak it into existence. Your mind and your thoughts, those are very important that you see positive things happening in your mind because we're all visual. We see these things happening and next thing you know, a lot of times they'll come to life. You think about bad things happening, most times bad things are going to happen. So I always try to approach things with the positive mindset. I'm going to win today. I'm going to do this. This is going to go well. This just make sure you have your mind set on positivity, because you're going to win for the most part when you're focused on positivity.
Hey, that's big facts because that's the whole reason why I ask you and everybody else, have you smiled today? Because, sometimes I think that we forget that going through our daily lives of, just the bad stuff that happens, something happened with your car, something happened with the person you're dating, whatever it is. But something that you were talking about that made me think of how life parallels with is a heartbeat monitor. If something is flatlined just on that same plane, then it's not alive. And you know that a heart is beating when it goes up and down, and that's truly life, is when you're going through those up and downs and finding a way to have that positive mindset no matter what. So I know that you speak fluent facts by saying what you just said, because that's the truth. But
Yeah. No, it is. It is. It is. No question.
man, but I appreciate you, bro. That's all the questions that I have. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down here and do this conversation with me. I know that you about to get on TV real soon, so let me get on out your way. But I,
Yeah, I'm sitting here as we speak, just prepping for the show. And shout out to everybody that tuned in, all your people. Shouts out to D Nicole, shouts out to Sunshine, Lil Funster, let's see, KY. Hey, I do not look like 50 Cent. Relax. Um, let's see, who else in here do I see? Everybody that pulled up, shouts out to you and you, all the 8720 family, and of course, shouts out to all the noops that stepped in.
hey, make sure you tell them I don't want no smoke. All right, make sure you reiterate that to them. All right.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, nah, I appreciate you for having me on, man. I respect the persistence.
Hey, you know what I was on, man. I'm in there every day, but I appreciate you. Hope you continue to smile today, and I'll let you get back to work. So thank you, Ro Parrish.
And nah, it's all good. And I'll leave the last thing before I bounce. On the bottom of my email, every time it says, and I'll just, since I'm not gonna shoot, hold on, show it to you. Let me see. Let's see. Hold on, where it is right here. Can we see what that says? Share a smile and a laugh daily. This is at the bottom of every email that I send, and that is just kind of, how I operate.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yes, sir.
I always want to make sure you spread that positive energy and make sure people are happy. Because I mean, you want to smile every day, you want to laugh every day. People want to be happy for the most part. So that's the message I try to send. With every email that I send.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you. Everybody's watching. Make sure you smile today. This has been Ro Parrish. I'm your boy, Perry Randle the third, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you, Ro.
No doubt. Always love, respect, and salute.